Undoubtedly, there is no civilization more attractive than that of ancient Egypt. The historical value of its culture has inspired and intrigued scientists, artists, and the curious of all kinds for millennia. However, while it is one of the most studied and most interesting, there are still many things to be understood, and it is precisely these gaps that cause several legends, myths, and conspiracy theories to be attributed to it. So today, we'll see what the most interesting secrets of ancient Egypt are. Well, let's just say they are stranger than they appear. From the magical powers of the pharaohs to the secret of the Sphinx, these mysteries will get you squashing your head in true ancient Egyptian style. So get your fedoras and Indiana Jones hats ready, as it's time to uncover the secrets of the past. Egyptian mythology is really extensive and with numerous variants. In its origin, the text relates each of the 42 nomes or countries of Egypt seemed to have its own divine ruler, who would pull all the strings like a puppet master and make sure their territory was worshipped until the very last bit of civilization. It is a nonetheless polytheism, which sometimes gets confused with animism. That is to say, transferring human qualities like life or consciousness to objects and elements of the natural world. When we talk about mythology, we are basically getting into the religion of ancient Egypt, where all the stories about the gods and goddesses are spun together like a web of divine intrigue. There are three theories about creation from the Egyptian perspective. The first one tells us that in the beginning there was only the ocean. Then Ra, the sun, emerged from an egg or a flower according to other versions that appeared on the surface of the water. Ra begot two gods, Shu and Geb, and two goddesses, Tefnet and Nut. Shu and Tefnet then decided to give the world some fresh air, so they leaned on Geb, who became the earth, and propped up Nut, who became the sky. According to this account, Ra had power over all things, like a true great sand. Geb and Nut acquired the busy day when they had two sons, Set and Osiris, and two daughters, Nephthys and Isis. Osiris took Ra's place as supreme ruler, which made Set envious. The second theory of the creation of the world tells that the ram-headed god Khnum and his amphibious wife, the frog-headed goddess Sekhet, were the wakiest gods around in the beginning, who built men and made the other gods, as well as molded the animals and plants. Legend has it that he shaped the newborn before placing them in the mother's womb, and that he was the #1 midwife for the queen of Egypt when she gave birth to the future pharaoh. The legendary Ptah was said to be one of the creators of the world, with the ability to form men, animals and plants in his earth. And not just any earth, but the earth of an Egyptian, known for its unparalleled thought, intelligence and of course feeling. He gave life to all these creatures with a simple alterant of their name. In other words, Ptah was the ultimate party trick master. The pyramids of Egypt are one of the wonders of the world that have captivated mankind throughout the ages. Their perfect triangular shape, their construction technique, and the hilarious stories that have been passed down the generation are all part of the intrigue surrounding these grand architectural feats. In spite of all the questions that remains, one thing is certain. The pyramids are one of the most awe-inspiring sights on Earth. These are two plans that, personally, are relevant. The first is that the origin prior to creation was a liquid and turbulent universe. But when the god Atum created, a primordial column appeared, a kind of mound of mud. It is probable that this idea of mound has to do with these pyramids. There are two theories that explain the origin of the pyramids. It is estimated that the pyramids derive from the mastabas, rectangular-shaped funerary constructions used by the first monarchs of Egypt. According to some researchers, in the 1st and 2nd dynasties, the tombs of the kings were built in mastaba. However, other historians add that in the 3rd dynasty there was a kind of change in theology. because the fundamental thing is no longer the preservation of the body, and becomes the ascension of the king to heaven. It said that the pyramids were a gift from the gods, sent to Egypt to help the first monarchs reach their heavenly destination. After all, what better way to show you love for a pharaoh than to give them a giant pointy-top building so they can ascend to the stars? With their trusty pyramid in Tau, the kings of Egypt were sure to have a comfortable trip to their final destination, and maybe even a few souvenirs along the way. Although evidence of the construction of the pyramids has been gradually emerging, the truth is that there are no certainties. Many archaeologists are inclined to think that the pyramids were built as part of a larger architectural complex. According to me, it was part of a grander plan, a large-scale chess game, but I let you be the only judge of that. Thus, a temple was designed at the foot of the pyramid, where funeral rituals were performed. Then, it had a causeway that ended in another temple near the river, where people could make outrageous offerings in homage to the king, and finally, another causeway that led to a more secluded and luxurious part, reserved for the elite. As for the construction, the lack of manuscript explaining how they were made has given room for speculation, while there is no recipe for how they were made. Some indirect techniques are known. For example, the stones were moved by boats, using sledges and wet sand to roll them like a giant bowling game. In particular, the upward construction has to do with a system of ramps that were demolished when they finished depositing the blocks in the pyramids. Additionally, Egyptologists agree that there was a so-called tribute to work, through which the state regimented people in different types of jobs. Among them, of course you understood it, the construction of pyramids, as true testament to the pharaoh's power and control over the population. Egyptian civilization is striking not only for its impressive ancient monuments that continue to captivate us to this day, but also for its progressive thinking. Divorce was allowed, couples were treated as equals under the law, and slaves could still have their own property. Talk about a democracy ahead of its time. The most negative influence on ancient Egypt is Hollywood, with its film of slaves building the pyramids. There are recent documents that narrate how the laborers worked during the construction of the first Great Pyramid of Cheops. They were hired. They did their work and the state paid them and fed them. After, when we think about the fact that modern Egyptologists believe the total amount of people to work on the pyramids were about 20 to 30,000 people, we only need to think about how they managed to get as much money and properties to give them, and after we'll be able to believe in this fairy tale. Pharaonic Egypt was the most human and bloodless state in the ancient Mediterranean, and it was a great place for women to lead, as evidenced by the Dynasty II law that stated ladies first, by allowing women to be head of state. Moreover, representations of battles were plentiful, but there was none of that nasty Sumerian, Assyrian or Hittite torture or cruelty. Egypt was way too civilized for that. Akhenaten's wife, Nefertiti, lived in the 12th century before the Common Era and was known to be one of the most glamorous and influential women of ancient Egypt. With her incredible leadership skills, she had the power to turn her husband's reign around. But then 14 years later, she pulled a disappearing act and vanished into thin air. Well, I guess it's true what they say, if you can't handle the heat, then get out of the pharaoh's palace. In 1922, Howard Carter made the incredible discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, leading to all sorts of wild theories about the fate of Nefertiti. Was she assassinated by her husband's Hittite allies? Did she take her own life after being succeeded by her stepson? Or perhaps she was turned into an anonymous male leader? Whatever happened to her, one thing is certain: Nefertiti's tomb remains a mystery to this day, and it's probably for the best. After all, Tutankhamun's life was plagued by rumors of his untimely demise, from being murdered to succumbing to a deadly bout of malaria. Talk about a cursed legacy. Everyone knows the famous Sphinx, that great monument with the head of a pharaoh and the body of a lion that lies in the vicinity of the pyramids of Gizeh. What few know is that there is another Sphinx, and that it was found in Israel. Yes, in the archaeological site of Tel Azor, where found only the head, feet and arms of a second monument whose reason for existence in the ancient country is still a total mystery. At 8 kilometers from the three pyramids of Gizeh lie the remains of a fourth pyramid erected around 2556 before Christ by the pharaoh Djephethra, who proposed to build a monument even larger than the Great Pyramid of Gizeh to his father. This fourth figure would have surpassed the 146 meters of the Great Pyramid before being dismantled by the Romans, who began to unhinge the stones to build the new neighborhoods of ancient Caire. Guys, if you're still interested in any type of videos, I remain available, so let me know in the comments what kind of video you would like me to investigate on. For everything, thank you and see you soon on this same channel.